Hello, lecture 5 was about managing human resources, obviously a very important function in the organization when we're talking about managing people and organizations. So we have several learning points. The first one was a description of the core functions of HR or HRM, human resources or human resources management. And it covered, the different aspects. So the first aspect is recruitment, and that's obviously really important for the skills that you bring in the organization, but also, and we alluded to that last time, in terms of culture. So is there a fit between the person and the culture of the organization? Now, the second thing, that when you recruit and you select the people, you allocate them to different activities, and in doing that you have to develop them. So basically you manage the career of people, you help them manage their career, and you have to use them for their skills and also to further develop them in order to acquire new skill and to fulfill new roles within the organizations. Obviously HR is also responsible for firing when that has to happen. It's one of the hard tasks of HRM.
There are traditionally two approaches to human resource management, referred to as hard HRM, which comes to us from the Michigan School of Management, and the soft approach to human resource management, which is associated with Harvard University. Hard human resource management is based on Taylorist assumptions, that is, bureaucratic assumptions around the employee, that essentially employees don't want to be doing the job, that they're lazy, that they need to be supervised and monitored because the objectives of the employee and of the organization are in conflict with one another. And so it leads to assumptions then about the role of a manager as a task implementer, a task supervisor. And within, how does this influence the recruitment, retention, and so on? The assumption is that we are recruiting a specific person for a specific task. And so hard human resource management then is also associated with hard power. Soft human resource management is based on the assumptions of the human relations movement, think Elton Mayo. Here the assumptions are that employees, if they are empowered, if they are trusted, if they're given responsibility, then they will in fact be motivated and inspired by the job, and they'll see the job as an opportunity to develop themselves and to grow. And so they don't need to be monitored or supervised, it's rather just give them the facilities and the opportunities, and they will do the job their very best way. We don't assume that we need to recruit a specific person for a specific job. Rather, the assumption is that we recruit good people. If we get good, talented people, they will bring their knowledge, their skills, and their experience, and whatever task arises in the changing organizational environment, these good people will be able to be deployed to deal with certain problems and give the very best solutions.
And so we find in this distinction between the two schools or models, really that's another manifestation about this discussion and tension in management practices between bureaucracy and post-bureaucracy.
Absolutely. And so strategic human resource management then looks at the core mission and the whole business model that the organization is implementing. And so it says that we have to recruit employees, not just for their skills and capabilities, but we need to recruit employees whose personality and values fit with the whole strategic mission and model that the organization is trying to implement. And so it's really about getting this great alignment between the strategy of the organization, its culture, its values, its marketing, and the employee as somebody who embodies or personifies that whole business model, strategy, and plan.
And that has to work within certain parameters that are captured in the context. So the strategic approach will also have to factor in various contextual elements. One of them is the shift in needs for the employees and the change in generation. So if we move from generation X to generation Y, the needs are different, and the millennium generation has different needs from the previous generation. You know, it's around more freedom. It's around also the fact that the type of knowledge that the organization will be needing, and the type of knowledge that employees could provide from one generation to the other will be changing. So once we see at them, you know, currently we have seen for the past decades the emergence of a knowledge economy. Well, what's important is new ideas, new knowledge, capability to learn, capability to adapt. That means that HR has also to provide that to the organization, and that's part of the strategic function.
The recruitment, retention, development and firing of employees has many legal implications, and so a human resource manager needs to be very, very sensitive to industrial relations type issues. So for example, when engaging in recruitment and the recruitment selection interview is taking place, and the interviewee cannot ask questions related to the employee's gender or marital status or disease, or because if the employee experiences or perceives that they may have been discriminated against on account of one of these issues, if they don't get the job, then they can open a case against the organization, and the organization is liable or will be held to account. They will have to be able to demonstrate that the choice to not hire a certain person was not based on any of these factors, which we would account or describe as discrimination.
So altogether, what HR is doing through all its function has to work with a broad system of rules and regulations, and that will involve unions, that will involve, you know, proper discussion, exchange through employment relations, individually with employees, collectively with unions and representatives of the workers, of the employees, and there are specific types of agreement that can be set into place and rule to reflect and to respect in every HR action.
In an organization, human resource managers, they are often very concerned to ensure that cases of sexual harassment and bullying are addressed, and so if an employee has a complaint in relation to those issues, they can go to a human resource management specialist to raise those allegations, and the human resource manager is responsible to ensure that those concerns are addressed. Otherwise, once again, it can lead to very, very costly court cases for the organization.
So they're in charge, in terms of the key things that we address, they are in charge of respecting ethics and diversity within the organization, and they are a port of call when there's a breach of these key principles. And obviously there's another aspect, there's a more, you know, that's the good, say the good side of HR. From a critical perspective, HR, you know, has been criticized for symbolizing a view of human beings that could be criticized, and that is not acceptable, which means that the very name human resources and human resources management means we consider human as, you know, as in neoclassical economics, as any other resources. We have capital, we have employees, and we have work, and they are the same. Well, obviously they are not.
Describing humans and thinking of them merely as resources is not on. And so while we use this terminology, it's problematic.
Thank you.